Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how easy it is to install a smart water meter. So usually you install a smart water meter as far upstream as possible, which means where the water enters your property. You want to find your main stopcock, which will look something like this, and that will be attached to a pipe. We've got a range here. We've got 15mm copper, 22mm copper, 28mm copper. You might even have some plastic pipe, so 15mm, 22mm and 28mm plastic here as well. So once you know the size of your pipe, you want to get a smart water meter for that pipe size. Now if you get one from Quensus, you'll receive a pack like this, and inside that pack you'll get a water flow meter, an electric valve, some push fit fittings and some rubber washers to make the installation really easy. So the first thing you want to do to assemble these fittings is to match the arrows on the underside of the sensor and the valve so they point in the same direction. Fit the rubber washers inside the valve where it meets the sensor, and then screw this in. That should be enough to make a watertight fitting, but just to be on the safe side, we're also going to use some PTFE tape. So get the end of the PTFE tape and wrap it round the thread of the flow meter. Now you can do this as many times as you want. I find 25 turns is usually the right amount. So once you've done that, you need to screw that thread into the valve, making sure to line it up carefully, and hand tighten right to the end until you can feel it press against the rubber washers that you put in earlier. So that's the valve and meter assembled. For the ends, where it's going to be connected to the pipe, you just need to get one of the push fit fittings and screw it straight into the valve, and get the white push fit fitting and screw it straight into the flow meter. Hand tighten them up, and that's done. So once we've got our smart water meter, we want to cut our pipe at two sides equal to the length of the water meter, and then simply slot in the pipe at both ends. To do that, we're going to use a very simple pipe cutter which clamps onto the end, and there's an arrow telling you which way to twist it, and you simply twist until it comes off, and this will give a nice clean edge to slot into the push fit fittings. So on one side, push it in, and same on the other side. So there's a rubber O-ring inside this fitting which the pipe needs to fit snugly to. You can see where the pipe needs to stop on the inside, and if you just make a note of that on the outside, line the pipe up on the outside to where it should stop, and mark where it meets the rim, and then when you push it in to the fitting, you should see that mark disappear, and you know it's pushed in fully. So for 15mm pipes, you might have a separate valve and meter combination. These both have 3/4 inch male threads. You just need to match again the arrows. So first the valve and then the meter, with the arrows on this pointing from left to right. And use a simple 3/4 inch socket, PTFE tape both threads up and screw them in. to make the connection even more watertight, use 3 washers inside the socket and hand tighten until you can feel both the valve and the meter pressed together. So once you have the 15mm meter assembled, you just need to put the fittings on each side. So for push fit, it's a simple screw in and hand tighten, and you could do the same on this side as well, but the valves are special in the fact that they have a neat little fitting that comes in 3 parts. First, you put the O-ring inside the valve, then the white plastic ring, and then finally twist in push fit fitting all the way down. And then that's ready to be connected to a 15mm pipe, and you push it in right to the weight, pull it to make sure that it doesn't come out, and do the same on this side too. For a 28mm pipe, again we have 2 parts. We have the flow meter and the electric valve. Now these ones have a 1-inch male thread and a 1-inch female thread that we need to connect into. We can use some 1-inch washers to go inside the valve and twist this right in. To be on the safe side, we can use PTFE tape around this connection. And then for each side we have a variety of fittings. Push fit probably isn't the best option here for 28mm, so we would use a compression fitting, again PTFE tape around the male thread and twist that in on one side, and on the other side another compression fitting, PTFE tape on the male thread and twist that all the way in, and then we have our assembly. If you didn't want to use push fit fittings or compression fittings, we also have express fittings. These are my favourite because they look tidier and they're easy to fit. Machine is needed to fit these though, and it just clamps down on this part of the fitting over the pipe. So just to recap the type of fittings we've got, we have our push fit female and male fittings, great for DIY enthusiasts. We've got our compression female and male fittings, and then our express male and female fittings, but you need to have the express machine in order to fit these. This variety can come in 22mm as shown here, or 15mm. For 28mm you can't really use push fit fittings, and for 35mm we would include the reducing female and male couplers. These would simply screw on to the 28mm version obviously after PTFE tape, so that you could then use the 35mm connections on each side. So other fittings to note are unions. So you'll see these on positive displacement meters, and it's this bit here and this bit here. And these are great when you haven't got much room to maneuver. So unions come in 2 parts. You've got the female part with a flat edge, so a 5 washer can sit on top, and the male part again with a flat edge to sit on top of that. And it means then you don't have to have much room to fit the pipe. And to attach you just use a wrench to tighten the union up.